Mic'd up.
Welcome to episode 7 of the Jack and Jack podcast. Jack, it's a beautiful day to talk about some sports. It's actually not a beautiful day here in Danville, Kentucky. We've got some rain coming down. I know you've just been to the dentist. So, this is going to be a heck of a day because we've got not only some good sports to talk about, but a little bit of fun life stuff. So, Jack, how was the dentist?
The dentist is one of my least favorite places on the planet, to be honest. I don't know how you could like really enjoy that. They're sticking metal in your mouth, like hitting you, and then every time they like chip you, and like it clearly hurts. Like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, I'm so sorry, whatever. Like, you're fine. Like, whatever. Like, I'm not fine. Like, I just want to get out of here. Like, oh, like I know you want to get out of here. I'm like, no, I love it here. Like, yeah.
What is the longest acceptable time to be at the dentist? Like, is it 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Like, obviously it's got to be longer than that. So what do you think?
Acceptable time, I'd say 45 minutes. As soon as like you get a 1 o'clock appointment, they get you to 1:45, they get some time to clear up for the 2 o'clock. If you're creeping in, my brother was at 12 and I came in and I waited for him to get out to like 1:10. Like an hour, 10 minutes in there is just absolutely heinous. It's absolutely ridiculous. They should never hour, 10 minutes way too long. 45, I think is fine. Doctor's appointments in general, if you're there for over an hour of your time, it's a day ruiner. It's a day ruiner. Like we had to push this back because the dentist couldn't clean my teeth fast enough. So it's always that's a good question though. I actually do really like that question. What do you think is an acceptable time?
Yeah, I'm with you on that 45 minutes. And the thing I find interesting about the dentist is you only actually see the dentist for like 30 seconds.
Yes, bro.
But where
Yes.
is the dentist the whole time? What does he do?
Dude. And they clean up so much too. Like they make so much bread compared to like all the other people. And it's the other people doing like all the work. They come in for 5 seconds, like, oh, this teeth looks good. Oh, like this one may have a cavity. Like, oh, like we'll get you back in 6 months. Like those kind of things. They're literally there for 5 minutes, and they're doing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, what's more useless? The 5 minutes of the dentist or James Harden's one-on-one defense?
It's a good question. I mean, last night was really embarrassing for James Harden again. I mean, he continues to prove why he is one of the biggest playoff drop-off players, worst playoff performers I've seen in a long time. I mean, we've always all seen this stat of how many times has James Harden had more turnovers than shots made, and he did it again last night, and was just getting fried every single time. I was at the casino last night, and I threw me and some of my friends threw the live wager on the Knicks. At like minus 105 when they were down 9, go all the way down 20. And I was actually going to rip up, like had the ticket in my hand, was gonna rip it up. And my friend was like, okay, if Landry Shamet like makes this three, because he's bad to shoot the three, if he makes this, don't rip it up. Makes the three, like, all right, not gonna rip it up. And then there come the Knicks. And James Harden was getting fried and fried and fried again. And unbelievable that they steal that game. Incredible. What was your take on that? I mean, that was nuts.
Yeah, I mean James Harden's one-on-one defense is just so suspect, and Brunson just took him to the cleaners over and over and over and over again. I mean, you can't blame him. Like, why not? I saw a post today that said James Harden going to the Cavs, like the Cavs trying to get James Harden to fix their franchise, was like trying to get a broken washing machine to wash your clothes. Like, it's proven time and time again that it
Yeah.
does not work. Stop trying to use the broken washing machine. And so that's what they brought in with Harden, and it's just a mess. I mean, he's just not quite the guy that they need him to be in order to win a championship. And I can't even believe that they are in the Eastern Conference Finals, which is a heck of an achievement for them. And then last night they got an opportunity to win a game, and it's Harden again that just blows it for a team that looked really good for most of that game.
Yeah, I mean they dominated throughout the first. I mean, first half was a little iffy. Knicks got started off hot in the first quarter. Second half they completely took over, and I mean it's just an unbelievable choke, which is just really shocking to see because I mean obviously it hurts to say, but in Game 7, Cleveland against Detroit, they looked absolutely fantastic. I mean they were firing on all cylinders. It was the best team defense I think I've seen Cleveland play all season. They beat Detroit at their own game. They defended better than them. They were grittier. They won the 50-50 balls and they made the shots they were supposed to make. They absolutely dominated us, and that I mean that was a tough game to watch. Historic choke. How do you respond if you're Cleveland from that game? Because you're up 22 with 7 minutes left. Only the second team to ever be able to come back from that. 2 and 594, I think I saw today. So I mean, absolutely incredible that they were able to come back from that. How does a team like Cleveland, after losing in such a horrible way, they didn't even cover the spread. I mean, there was 6.5. They didn't even cover the spread. How do they respond and try to win this series?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because are you saying that they have to take game two? Because it doesn't look like that's going to happen. They really had an opportunity to steal game one, didn't get it. So now you've got to continue this run of dominance at home, which Cleveland's been really good at home, just one loss during these playoffs. So when they go back home, they're going to have to win both games against the Knicks if they want to get this series. I do not see them coming back from 3-1 down. Maybe they could steal this game too. I didn't see anything last night that made me think this is a team that's going to win this series. There were moments where they look good, but I think a lot of it was the Knicks just not hitting their wide open shots, which is just going to happen with New York. But and that's why I don't think New York is a contender for the title. I mean, I think we watched the West game and then we watched the East game, and it's pretty easy to tell that the West champion is going to be winning here in the finals. But it's still a huge achievement for either one of these teams to get to a finals. And for the Knicks, that's a huge first step, getting that first win. And they're just a little bit closer to their first finals in a heck of a long time.
This has really been an incredible run for the New York Knicks. They have been firing on all cylinders all playoffs long, swept the 76ers coming off the Boston win, thought that series was going to be close, was not at all. Thought last night's game, I thought Cleveland, I thought they were going to win, and they had it basically won. New York rallies back, gets the win. I think New York takes the series down in 5 or 6 games and advances to their first finals in a long, long time, the first in my lifetime at least. And I know a couple of my good friends are diehard New York Knicks fan, and it's gonna be the first time they've ever seen a finals appearance. I was texting one of my good friends and goes, "Where does this game rank all time for you on New York Knicks games?" And he said, definitely top three, and I'm not sure if it's number two or number three. I mean, it's pretty hard for a game like that in the Eastern Conference Finals to come back like that and steal the game. Incredible. But you're right. I think you hit it on the head. The champion, I believe, will come out of the West. I mean, that game was unbelievable, double overtime. Wemby might be the GOAT. We'll see. That was unbelievable. What do you think happens in this Eastern Conference Final series?
Yeah, I expect the Knicks to end up winning the Eastern Conference. I just don't think that if the Cavs had won that game, and it's a very similar situation to how I feel about the Spurs, because if the Cavs had won that game, I think they put themselves in a position where they can then go on to win the series. Now it's just like they're trying to dig out of this hole, and I just don't see it going their way. Even if they get it back to 2-2, I just don't see them beating the Knicks 4 times here in the next 6 games. I just don't see it. And then for the Spurs on the other side, had the Thunder won that game, I would have had some serious questions about the Spurs because you would have looked at it and gone, wow, Wemby had that kind of night and they still didn't win. But because they did win, now everyone's like, well, maybe the Spurs can do it, right? Because it's that kind of confidence that comes from winning the game one and from putting yourself in a position where, okay, now we got to win 3 from the next 6, as opposed to the Thunder who are looking at 4 from the next 6. Winning 4 out of 6 against a good team is really tough. That's a high number. You're winning 66% of the games against a team. I mean, that is very difficult to do. And it's people get kind of into, oh, well, they'll just even it up in game two. Well, yeah, but now it's 1-1 on your home floor. You've got 2 games of home court advantage, right? I mean, it seems very simple to talk about it that way, but at the end of the day, it's a very simple sport, right? It just works like that. That's the way the playoffs are. If you can steal one of those first 2 games as the road team, you put yourself in a great spot to win the series when you come back home for game 6.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're a San Antonio Spurs fan, I mean, you're over the moon right now. I mean, game two, you're playing with house money. No De'Aaron Fox in game one. He's a fantastic player, very good catalyst for their offense. They were able to go in there and steal game one. I mean, you lose game one. I mean, you lose game two. Now it's 1-1. You're going home for 2 games. Now you're kind of in the higher seeded position where now it's on your home floor where the series is going to be decided. I mean, if Wembenyama keeps playing like that, he hates Chet Holmgren. It's pretty funny to watch because Chet doesn't even care. Like, Chet just wants to play basketball, and Wemby hates his guts. He described the loss in the FIBA Nationals when the USA beat France as the worst memory he's ever had in basketball. Just shows the motivation that he has and really the will to win. I mean, you got flashbacks of David Robinson getting the MVP, Hakeem Olajuwon waiting on the sideline, and then going on absolutely dominating the Admiral. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander gets the MVP, Wemby waiting on the sideline. Shea shoots 7 for 23. Wemby goes 41, 23, and 3. Hits the logo shot 35 feet to tie the game. Has the unbelievable double overtime, the overtime. Gets the, just such a just the perfect finish to the game where Wemby swats the block, grabs it, holds it, and the game ends. I mean, absolutely incredible performance. And it's going to spark up a lot of very interesting conversations if they are able to not only win this series, but win the finals in only year three for Wemby would be completely ahead of their timeline. It'd be very, very scary for the rest of the league because, I mean, we said that the line for the Thunder games that they were going to lose was 3.5. They've already dropped one. I think if they win this series, I believe it'll be in 6 or 7 games now for sure. This is going to be a very tough one for them to win, but it does put a lot of pressure on OKC now because they are the ones that have lost the first game at home.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And the Holmgren thing was great because Holmgren had that moment where he blocks Wemby on the last shot of regulation, and then Wemby kind of gets his revenge. Now that 40-footer from Wemby, uh, what in the world? Can you believe that we've got a 7'5" dude pulling up from 40 feet in transition with 23 seconds left on the shot clock? What is that? How do you
Listen,
defend that? What do you even do?
you
He's
pray.
just and this is the thing with Wemby is like you're always kind of like, okay, well, he's got the size, he's got the skill, but does he have the killer instinct? He's got the killer instinct,
Yes.
and it's scary. It's scary because he's genuinely looking like he could be the future of the league and maybe one of the best players to ever play the sport because we have never seen a guy this size with that kind of skill and the killer instinct that Wemby has. It is absolutely scary, and I love that we're finally getting to see this from Wemby because I feel like that's the one thing that we've all been kind of questionable about with Wemby's career. Does he have whatever it is that makes these guys great, right? LeBron and Jordan have that just that something about them. Steph Curry would always hit the big shots, right? And you look at some of these other guys who are like on the cusp of being great because they're talented, but they just have never really had that killer instinct, like Kevin Durant. Somebody like that, right? That wasn't able to win all those titles, that wasn't able to carry teams. Wemby looks like the guy that can do that. And I'm not saying that they're going to win a title this year, but it's coming. Wemby is coming, and we all saw a glimpse of the future of the NBA in that game with the Spurs and the Thunder. I still like the Thunder to win this series. I think it took a monumental effort from Wemby and a relatively poor game from Shea and a lot of the supporting cast for the Thunder. Of course, Caruso scores 30 because why not? And you look at that, and Jared McCain had a good game, but most of the normal contributors for the Thunder didn't have great nights, and then Wemby has an all timer. So I still like the Thunder to win this series, but man, how awesome was that to watch Wemby?
One of the greatest basketball games that I think I've watched in a very long time. I mean, I was driving home from work for a lot of the end of that game. But I mean, rewatching the highlights and all of it, and then watching the end of that game in real time, and the level of defense from both teams, the level of effort, the care that they all showed for winning, because both these teams know that realistically, this probably is the de facto finals. Both these teams are levels above both the teams in the East. I mean, they're definitely levels above the Knicks and the Cavs for sure. And I think most NBA fans believe that if you're not a Knicks guy or a Cavs guy, I think everybody else has kind of come to an agreement on that. And they know that. And they know that all these games are you have to give everything for it. Stefan Castle said it was one of the hardest game he's ever played in his life. But then he said, we have the best player in the world, so it made it easy. Stefan Castle had 12 turnovers in that game. Pretty incredible for a guy that, I mean, he's a really good player, and he's kind of coming to his own here in his first few years in the league. He's been fantastic for them. The Spurs team's just so good. It's a good point you make, going back to that killer instinct. In sports, it is so important that somebody on a winning team has that it factor. No matter what sport it is. I mean, it could be golf with Tiger Woods. He had that it factor. UFC, Conor McGregor had that it factor. Basketball, LeBron and Jordan, they had that it factor. Soccer, Messi, Ronaldo, that it factor. That's something that is not normal in players, that is extra, that you just have in you. You can't teach it, you can't learn it. You might just be born with it. It's something that you have that is just extra from everybody else that allows you to kind of change the game in general and the expectations that players can achieve. Because before Jordan, it was like, okay, what are our expectations here? And then it's like, okay, now Jordan set the bar. Now people are trying to catch Jordan, and you're saying people are saying it about LeBron. Like, all right, is Wemby going to be able to surpass LeBron? It's these greats that are setting these standards, all with this it factor that just creates greatness. And Wemby has it. And it is really scary for the rest of the league because people weren't expecting him to do this till 27, 28, maybe a little earlier, maybe even a little later before he really gets into his prime. This dude is so young and he's doing it at the highest level. 41 and 23, takes down the reigning MVP, the reigning champs, 8 and 0 in the playoffs, takes them down on their home floor in a double OT thriller, and hits one of the most iconic shots we've seen in a long time. Not as great as the Curry way downtown bang. Still an incredible shot. I mean, that Curry shot was, I mean,
Oh my gosh.
game winner, immortal shot. Will live forever. Wemby's shot wasn't the playoffs huge moment, but overall, what an incredible first two games to these conference finals that we have seen. I mean, fantastic. So there's been a lot of question with, oh, like there's been too many blowouts in the NBA. It's oh, is OKC is going to blow everybody out. Is the Eastern Conference going to be boring? I mean, the Knicks were pretty sizable favorites. Both teams were 7-point favorites in their first games, but no, absolute thrillers on both sides, and I'm really looking forward to both these series.
Yeah, they've just been great. It's a great start, and I'm excited to see kind of where the NBA goes from here. It's been a great start to these playoffs and getting people excited about the sport of basketball even deep into May. So that's always awesome to see. Let's transition a little bit here and talk about some sports across the pond. Arsenal win the league after Man City drops points to Bournemouth. It was 1-1, and that's enough for the Gunners to grab their first league title in 22 years. An unbelievable feat from Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, who have won the league. Jack, what's your take?
He's the first player and coach to do it, I believe. And I mean, really incredible. I mean, I think I flipped 3 or 4 times on this podcast of if they were going to bottle it to City, if they were going to win it. Eventually, they hang on. Pretty incredible. I mean, that's a long time to go without winning. And I didn't see too many of their games throughout the season, but I definitely monitored the title race. And I mean, a team like Manchester City, and we'll talk about Pep in a second, of him stepping down, pretty surprising the way that whole thing kind of went on. But in any sport, really, if you go that long without winning and you can taste it, it puts the pressure on you so much more. I mean, the pressure had been on Arsenal for months. Were they going to bottle this? Were they going to hang on? Because they had a really sizable lead. And then City closed the gap and they started dropping points in games that they quite frankly should not have dropped any points in, and it becomes this whole thing. Oh my goodness, are they gonna bottle it? But to their credit, they hang on and they win the Premier League for the first time in 22 years. My good friend's an Arsenal fan. He's over the moon about it, and just what a great win for the club. What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable for Arsenal, who has experienced a lot of hurt since 2004. Very close several times, and just never quite being good enough. They've kind of been between third and sixth a lot of those years, and just trying to figure it out. And you really haven't ever felt like they were going to win the league until last year when they got close. And then when they didn't do it, you're like, okay, well, is it just going to be more of the same for Arsenal? Are they just going to be so close and second again, ole ole, right? But last year they get close, they don't win it. This year they lose to City. They lose to City in a game that would have put them level on points with the game in hand. And then Arsenal doesn't lose again. Declan Rice sits on the field, says it's not over, and they don't lose again.
It's
So I
impressive
mean
stuff.
that's the difference right there. And City down the run never drops points. City this year, 2 games they drop points. So you look at that and you're like, how did Arsenal do it? They believed in themselves down the stretch, which is hard to do, especially after you've just lost to your title rival. And City is not the same City that we're used to. This iteration of City, and we'll see what happens in the post Pep era, but this iteration of City is not the same lethal City teams that we've seen in years prior. So I think that it's a huge honor to Arsenal for sure. But this was definitely the year for them to do it because City isn't what they have been. The rest of the league isn't what it has been. There's an argument that I've heard that 11 through 18 maybe is as competitive as ever in the Premier League, and I don't disagree with that. But certainly there is not as much quality, top end quality in the Premier League as there has been in years prior. So a perfect opportunity for Arsenal, who it still feels like is missing a piece or two to win the league this season. And all credit goes to Mikel Arteta for figuring that out this year and for operating on the budget that he's got. Obviously, it's not a Man City budget, it's not a Man United budget, but he does have a £100 million midfielder. He does have a very expensive striker in Victor Gyökeres, and of course, Gyökeres up front didn't have the best year, but he is a big money striker. So you look at this Arsenal run, and it is certainly commendable. But also, you've got to understand the context in which they won it. This is not as impressive of a title as some of the ones that City has won in recent memory or that Liverpool has won. It is very similar to last year in the sense that nobody was great, and so Arsenal was just good enough to get over the line. Last year it was Liverpool who was just good enough to get over the line. And then it's certainly been a great year though for Arsenal fans who have really enjoyed it and deserve a little bit of joy, even though it pains me to say that because they are really the most annoying. I don't know why they're so annoying, but I've already seen Gyökeres and Harry Kane comparisons today. Stop, please stop, please. But it's an end of an era. It's a changing of the guard. I think now that Arsenal's won this league, you see Pep leaving. It's going to be a new era for the Premier League. I'm excited to see what comes next. I don't think Maresca is going to have the kind of success that Pep had at City, but they'll still be relevant. I think the door has just flung wide open for everybody, and now there's a chance that anybody could get in there and try to challenge for a league title.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. And the Premier League is widely known as and agreed upon as like the best league in the world. Where do you think this Arsenal team stacks up against previous winners? And in this year, where do you think they would stack up in a league like La Liga?
It's a great question, Jack. I think Arsenal probably are the worst champions in the Premier League since Leicester won it. I do think they're probably better than that Leicester team, but I think they're the worst champions. We've just seen some very, very good teams win the league since then, and some of the best teams of all time. I mean, the year that it was 99 to 97 between City and Liverpool, that's the two best teams maybe in the Premier League ever. And those two teams kind of had a long era, right? And so you're kind of working in that space, right, where you're comparing Arsenal to those teams. I think they're not quite as good as Liverpool was last year. Somewhere close to that though. And then Leicester would slot in right below them. Obviously, Leicester had the miracle run, but you wouldn't say that they're one of the best teams of all time by any stretch of the imagination. So that's where I've got Arsenal fitting in there. And as for this season, I think that Arsenal would finish definitely second, maybe third in La Liga. I do like them over Real Madrid. I just think they're a little dysfunctional. I mean, Atleti didn't have a great league season, so I have to probably say Arsenal second in La Liga and Barcelona first. But Arsenal could win the Champions League here and really shut everybody up. I feel like they've had a little bit of a Mickey Mouse run, but if you beat PSG in the final, you earn some respect. So Arsenal's dying for a little respect on top of the titles that they've won. So they'll be ready for that one.
Yeah, I mean, gonna be a very interesting one. PSG definitely an overwhelming favorite here. I mean, they're the defending champions. They've been really dominant. I mean, they have the defending Ballon d'Or winner. They are a very very strong side right now. It's gonna be very interesting to see. Who do you think takes that game? I believe PSG is gonna win it, but you're right. If Arsenal is to win that game, it's gonna shut a lot of people up because they say, "Oh, it's a very weak Premier League," but this PSG team is not weak at all. And obviously, it's only one game. It's not two legs, so it's just one chance. Because sometimes you play really bad in a leg, and then you come in and dominate the second one, or you dominate the first one, and then just kind of play slow the second one. But it's just one game, one chance here. I believe PSG is going to take it home for the second time in a row, which would be. When's the last? Do you know when the last time we've had back-to-back Champions League winners is? Because that's a pretty impressive feat. But who do you think is going to win this game?
Yeah, I think Real Madrid won it back to back in 2017. I'd have to check on that though. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Jack, see if you can pull it up while I'm talking here. Uh, as for this game, I like PSG obviously because I think they're just a better side. But I do think that Arsenal gives them a look that they haven't seen as much of this year. This kind of defensive, rock solid approach that's going to be very difficult to break down. They're strong at almost every position along the back line. They have a nice goalkeeper. They have a few very good pieces in the back that are able to defend the attacking prowess that PSG has. So I actually like Arsenal to keep it very close, maybe even take it to extra time or penalties. But I think PSG will eventually prevail, just in the sense that they are a dominant side. But if Arsenal is able to win the Champions League, are we talking about a Declan Rice Ballon d'Or? I mean, I think that's a real conversation that you could be having. Bukayo Saka probably doesn't have the stats as a winger. Obviously, had a great year, but in terms of statistical output, probably not. Maybe Gabriel Magalhaes in the back, but it's looking to me like Declan Rice would be a candidate, certainly a top three finisher at the Ballon d'Or if Arsenal is able to win the Champions League. What are your thoughts on that?
That'd be pretty unbelievable. I mean, Declan Rice, I haven't been following him for too long, but I vividly remember winning those two incredible free kick goals against Real Madrid. We were in a bar in Madrid, shout out Beer Station, watching that game, absolute screamers. And, I knew he was world class from then. Ballon d'Or is a complete level up because then once you win a Ballon d'Or, you're in a conversation with the all time greats. And that really is another level. Back to what you were saying about the back-to-back Champions League winners. You hit it on the head, absolutely correct. It was Real Madrid in 16, 17, and 18 under Zidane, where they won three in a row. A pretty incredible run there. So you nailed that one. It would be insane if Declan Rice wins the Ballon d'Or, but you do favor the team that wins the most, and the Premier League and the Champions League would be two very big victories for the club. And so then you probably would have to look at their best player there, which seems to be Declan Rice so far. I mean, Bukayo Saka obviously is a great player and probably the face of their franchise right now, I'd say. But if Declan Rice is able to continue what he's doing and put on a good performance in the Champions League final, I think that would definitely be a good pick for sure. Where's the guy like Lamine Yamal stacking right now? Because I mean that guy's the man.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing. So Lamine obviously picked up that injury, and so that's a question. Part of the Ballon d'Or process that's really important. So last year, if you remember, Ousmane Dembele won it because PSG won the Champions League, right? Now, what didn't happen last year was there wasn't a major European tournament or a major international tournament. So no major international tournament means the Champions League winner's best player normally gets it. Now, this year we've got the World Cup. The best player on the World Cup winner tends to win the Ballon d'Or. It just tends to work like that. If they had a good enough club season and all that, and because the best player on the best team is probably going to be somebody who was really good this year. Like, let's just be honest, right? So it tends to work like that. So if England wins the World Cup, I am going to say right now, if England wins the World Cup, Declan Rice will be the Ballon d'Or winner. That's my prediction.
Let's
Now,
quote
if
that one right
Spain
there.
wins the World Cup, Lamine Yamal will probably win the Ballon d'Or. If France wins the World Cup, probably Mbappe wins the Ballon d'Or, which is I don't know. Like I don't know how people are going to feel about that because he didn't have that great of a club season, but he probably would win the Ballon d'Or. And then if Germany were to win the World Cup, I'm not quite sure. It could be somebody else. It could be somebody who has an awesome run. Because if you remember when Luka Modric won it, right? When Luka Modric won the Ballon d'Or, that was like an incredible run that they had. And obviously Rodri won it when Spain won the Euros. So you look at kind of those kind of things, and Rodri is my direct comparison to Rice, right? He's the Champions League, he's the league, and he's the uh, international tournament that summer winner. And that's why I think Declan Rice would win it if England were able to win the World Cup. So it's a little bit interesting to look at in that kind of regard because it's not as much of an MVP thing as it is the best player on the best team. It tends to be that way. But Lamine Yamal, if Spain go to the final or make a deep run and Lamine's the best player on the pitch, as long as he's not hurt, I've heard he might be hurt. But as long as he's not hurt and he plays and he takes them deep, then I think Lamine would have a very good shot and likely will be on the podium.
Yeah, his career is one I'm monitoring very closely because it's very cool when you have athletes that are kind of your age. I mean, he's even younger than us, like 4 years younger, which is insane. To see guys that you kind of grew up or watched while you were kind of growing up and seeing the player they blossom into, because he's one of the guys who has all the potential in the world. Same like a Wembenyama, younger guys. I watched Lamelo Ball in high school, so I'm always rooting for him to do well. Like a Bronny James, who I watched growing up, where it's like, all right, like I kind of feel a connection to these guys because they're like near my age and I'm watching them. So I really hope that he blossoms into the player that a lot of people think he's going to be, because wasted potential really is just such a sad thing. And it really just sucks when a player is supposed to be so good, shows glimpses that they can be that guy, and then never become that guy. It happens all the time in sports, and it's just a shame if that happens. And a lot of young guys, especially in college sports, I mean, you really hope they have the best careers. But sometimes coaches, and we'll go on Will Wade here, don't like the younger guys. Will Wade, and we were talking about before, is a terrorist for the game of college basketball. He snakes NC State, says, "Oh, I'm going to build a foundation here," leaves after one season, goes back to the Bayou at LSU, and now is trying to get a roster with the average age of over 23. I mean, RJ Lewis played in the graphic of them showing the potential roster. He is in a Boston Celtic uniform. And then you got European guys, a 25-year-old European guy. I mean, what's your take on this? Because this is really one of the most jarring, horrible absolutely abysmal things. Horrible for the sport. And college basketball has already been screwed over year in and year out with the NIL. It's just on a downhill slide. It's not the same college basketball as it is. And this is just making it so much worse. So I have nothing but bad things to say about the way Will Wade is going about this. What's your take on the whole thing?
Will Wade's gonna Will Wade. You let Will Wade back in. You gave him an opportunity to do it, and he was like, "Watch this. I'm gonna break all of the rules and see what they decide to enforce." Will Wade has decided he's going to take the approach of they can't catch all of us. Well, I'm gonna get some of these guys eligible. None of them should be eligible. None of them. His whole starting lineup is ineligible. The entire starting lineup that he's brought in ineligible. The only eligible player that he has that is of note, of course, he's picked up a few different guys from a few different places, but the only one that's going to register on national headlines is Mo Diabate from Kentucky, and he's not even very good. So you look at this, what he's building down there in the Bayou, and it's like three European guys that shouldn't be eligible, multiple guys who've been drafted. He's got like four guys on the roster now that were drafted. I mean, it's just ridiculous. What is he even doing? Is he just doing this to spite everyone? I don't understand. Why are you doing this, Will Wade? Why didn't you just get regular players? He didn't get regular players on purpose. Like he knew he wasn't going to get regular players. He's like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to annoy everybody and try to change the whole rules. I'm not sure if you saw the Field of 68 comment. They asked an anonymous coach who said that Will Wade was being an annoying D head just to be an annoying D head. I mean, it's like, what are you doing, Will Wade? Why are you trying to ruin the sport for no reason? I mean, he's just like, I'm just doing this for fun. Does he just like breaking the rules? I mean, I have no idea. Is it for spite? What is he doing?
I mean, it makes no sense too because it's not like he's a bad basketball coach. I
No.
mean, McNeese State made a good run behind him, and he was able to a roster that was not too talented was able, and they dominated. I mean, they dominated the Clemson Tigers in that first round. I mean, Clemson had 13 points in the first half, a defensive masterclass. And Will Wade has proved that he is a very high level coach and can coach the highest level of basketball. But for some reason, he just thrown all that out the window. I want to know how much money he's giving these guys. A guy like Divine Ugachuwu, who played at Michigan State last year, broke his foot, was out for the rest of the season, but had showed glimpses of a good player. And he somehow gets him to transfer to Michigan State and come to LSU. Which, I mean, I hope my boy Jeremy Fears comes back. He's been playing pretty well at the combine, but I really do hope he comes back. But this has just been, I mean, horrible, horrible, horrible for the sport of college basketball. And it seems like in today's age, it really is just on a downhill mudslide where when are we going to get something? When's the NCAA going to get a backbone? Is the real question. When is the NCAA going to be like, all right, enough with all this BS. We are just going to be like, all right, if you're an eligible player, we're not doing all this. Oh, if you're in the NBA, if you're in the G League, if you're 27 years old and you haven't used up your college eligible, you can come back. No, let's go back to the traditional college basketball where if you get hurt, you can medically redshirt and you can get another year. Yeah, that's fine. But not, oh, I just want to play again. I want to make more money. Let me apply for a fifth, a sixth, maybe even a seventh year of college. It all makes no sense. A lot of these guys, and some guys staying in college for their second, third, fourth year, like a Braden Smith, who played all 4 years. It makes sense because he's making more money in college at Purdue than he ever would make in the league. I think Braylon Mullins coming back was smart this year. He would still be a higher pick, but I think him coming back, he's getting $5 million at UConn. I mean, that's generational money right there. He'll be perfectly fine. I think that was a good decision. But when is the NCAA going to get a backbone and settle the score and make things right? Because right now, it's the wild, wild west, not only in NIL, but everywhere. Everywhere in college basketball, college sports in general. It's just not the same. It makes it harder to buy into when you can't watch kids grow from they come in at 17 8 years 18 years old and you watch them grow into these young adults where you get to learn about them and you see their stories and they play at your school so you really buy into them and you become big fans of these guys. But when you're hopping around to four different schools in 4 years, even 5 in 5 years or 6 in 6 years, how are you really going to be able to get a fan base that is diehard on these players? Which goes into obviously the organizational thing about it's getting screwed, but then the actual fans, where that's where the revenue's coming from. If you don't have fans who enjoy the sport, you're not going to be able to charge these ridiculous prices and get people to pay for them. It really just boils my blood because I grew up, and you did too, on these great college basketball teams, these great college football teams, and all these teams that you're able to buy into these players because even if they're a one and done player, you know that they came to your school, they loved your school, they played for your colors, and they gave it everything they had. And then they move on to the next level. Not, okay, we're going to give you a year here. It'll be so so, and then we're going to try to go to a different situation that fits you better, or will, in this day and age, give you more dollars. It's horrible. I really, again, hope the NCAA fixes things. But right now, I just don't see it. I mean, there's no real committee on that's like, okay, we're gonna fix this. We're trying to fix this. It's like, all right, you do what you want. And Will Wade really is testing the limits. And I honestly think what he's doing might be finally, after all this time, a real wake up call for the NCAA to be like, okay, it's getting a little ridiculous now. You see the roster that he's trying to build. We can't allow stuff like this. So let's fix it. There's a lot of, I mean, it happened in baseball too, right? With the salary cap there is none, the Dodgers and the Yankees. If you're a good player, you're going to be a Dodger or a Yankee at some point, and maybe a Met as well, because they'll throw you $500 million. But I mean, Tariq Skubal, I'm a Detroit Tigers fan. He's a great pitcher. I mean, two-time Cy Young winner, and he's gonna be a Dodger or a Yankee in next year because that's where the money's at, and that's how baseball works. If the Dodgers win three in a row, though, I think the NCAA there will go into lockout, and there will be a real fix that needs to happen to kind of level the playing field. Now, obviously, the colors and everything, the aura of being in New York or being in LA, those are the things that you're gonna want to have. But at the level that they are happening now, where you can literally just buy whoever you want, it's got to change in all of sports. Salary cap is good for the league, and them charging the crap out of teams for the luxury tax is also good. What's your whole take on this? I just went on a whole rant there about the NCAA being horrible, and I mean every word of it. But what's your take on this whole thing?
Well, I love that we went from the NCAA to Major League Baseball because there are a lot of similarities, and I think that's a good comparison that you drew there. I will say that the NCAA has implemented a rule that restricts players to 5 years in college basketball, where they're not going to get any medical red shirts, and you're going to be capped at 24 years old. So there's not going to be any more of these 26, 27, seventh year guys. That's not going to exist anymore. So that is a good change that the NCAA has enacted that they can actually enforce. The question with that is whether there'll be a lawsuit on the backside from some of these guys like Braden Smith and Otega Owe, who played 4 years and legitimately did that won a fifth year because all these other guys are getting fifth years too. Because everybody before and after them will have gotten a fifth year due to the COVID nullification of that season. So that's where they're at with that. And that's certainly going to be interesting. What I'm kind of interested in though, kind of aside from the NIL piece, obviously NIL plays a factor in this, but I'm looking at some of these NBA stay or go decisions. So, Jack, I'm going to name a couple guys. All I want you to say is whether you think they're going to stay or whether you think they're going to go. Real quick, like a short, quick response on why you think they stay or go. So, first up, Milan Momcilovic, stay or go.
I think he is going to stay. I think the amount of money that he could make in 1 year at college is absolutely unbelievable. I think he's a great shooter, but I think there's other things he can work on in his game to really become a more complete player. Now, if he gets told in the combine, okay, and it's really with every player, if he gets told in the combine or one team specifically likes him, hey, we're going to draft you at this slot, either late first round or wherever he's projected to go, then I think he will go. But my prediction is I think he stays in college another year, and not at Iowa State. We'll see where he goes.
Hopefully, Kentucky. Jeremy Fears.
Jeremy Fears has come back to Michigan State. He's come back to Michigan State. He's staying there too long. He has till the 27th. He will come back. They're projecting him late second round now. I don't buy anything of him late first round. He has a great college game, but again, actually, it was my mom who made a good point. He's doing all these things against college guys in these combines, but when you're being guarded by NBA players, he's not putting up 17 with 11 assists. It's not happening, especially not right now. I love Jeremy Fears. He's one of my favorite players I've ever watched. He's going to play another year in the green and white.
Alan Graves at Santa Clara. He's also entered the portal.
Yeah. I mean, he had really incredible freshman year, and I think honestly we would gotten to see more of him if it wasn't for Ortega Owe and the absolutely incredible shots in that game to overtime, taking it over there. I think he will go. I think he will go to the league. I think he's an NBA ready player. I think what he was able to do at Santa Clara was very impressive, and I think he will be a late first round draft pick.
Abuka Corey at Stanford.
He needs to come back. I love his game. He's a great scorer, but I think he can get more of out of these trainers and out of these guys, build a more complete game that would really translate to the next level more than just being an on the ball scorer. I think he needs to learn to play basketball better off of the ball. I think the Stanford team just clearly just wasn't that good. So he really was able to do kind of whatever he wanted on offense. I think he needs another year to really extend his game.
I actually agree with you, but he didn't enter the portal, so he'd have to go back to Stanford. So in that case, I think he's going to end up staying in the league, just because of that decision. Malachi Moreno,
He's gone.
you think he goes to the NBA?
I think he goes to the NBA. I think he's ready. It's gonna be. I think that one's more 50-50 than a lot of them though. But I think he's another guy that I think he has enough complete. I think he's a complete enough of player more than some of these other guys that I think he can do it at the next level. Maybe not immediately, but I think he can build into a good, and hopefully he gets picked up by a good franchise because I think he's the kind of guy that would really benefit from having a good roster around him, kind of building him up. And it happens with a lot of guys that they're pretty decent in college and they show glimpses of being a really good player, but then being on good rosters with a lot of good players around them really helps them elevate their game. And it goes for most players, but I think he'll take it to another level.
I think he stays because I think he can be a top 10 pick next year with the really weak class coming in. Flory Badunga heading to Louisville if he comes back.
Yeah. But I mean, love the big guys. I think he will go to Louisville. I think they're going to give him enough money that would make sense for him to play another year. But again, on that one, I would not be shocked at all if he stays in the draft because I think anybody with that size and physicality can make an impact. I mean, I always love to draw comparisons to Luke Cornett. I don't think he's the most skilled basketball player in the world, but he plays hard. He knows where to be, and he can rebound, and he's found a spot on a lot of teams. I mean, the Boston Celtics were a very strong team when he was there. And I mean, obviously, he wasn't the key piece of that team, but he was on the team. I mean, he's on the San Antonio Spurs, backs up Wembenyama. He's able to find spots on NBA teams. And I think he'll be able to find a spot on an NBA team.
All right. Will Jack wrap it up with our UFC segment, and then that'll be it for today's podcast.
All right. So just a very, very quick thing here. Not too much right now in the UFC space, except for the Mac is back. The notorious Conor McGregor, July 11th, UFC 329 in Las Vegas, International Fight Week, will be fighting Max Holloway at 175 or 170 pounds. Conor McGregor has not fought since 2021. This is the third longest layoff in UFC history. He's coming back. He got me into the sport. He's the reason why I love it so much. I'm supposed to go to Vegas with my good friend on the 12th of July. I am doing everything I can. I'm gonna try to throw in some DoorDash shifts here, do as much as I can, get as much money as I can, because I need to go 2 days earlier to watch Conor McGregor in what I believe will be his last fight ever. He has been the catalyst for what the UFC is today. UFC would not be nearly what it is without him. Max Holloway is obviously a great fighter. We get to see Max Holloway a lot, and I think it's a very favorable matchup for McGregor. Holloway fights at 155 and was a 145 before he moved up. He is not a big guy. McGregor's absolutely become huge in these 5 years off. I think people are not giving Connor the chance that he actually has to win this fight. Now, he's a plus 350 underdog. Best believe I will throw my house on that. Him by knockout in the third round, maybe even earlier than that because it's a McGregor fight. He could catch him. Max's chin, I think, has been broken a little bit. McGregor could catch him early, but I'm over the moon that McGregor is back. However, I am not believing that this fight will happen until I see him step foot in the octagon. Because this happened a little while ago where he was supposed to fight Michael Chandler at International Fight Week on June 29th. Um, a few years back, and they had a press conference him ready for him to go in Dublin, Ireland, in the middle of May, and they canceled the press conference out of nowhere, said there were some issues, but nobody really knew what was going on. And then it came out that McGregor was hurt and he pulled out of the fight, and it's been so long that I just want to see Conor McGregor fight again. So Jack, great episode again today. The Mac is back. Will Wade's a terrorist. A lot of great things. Arsenal Premier League winners. Very fun episode as always, and look forward to the next one.
Me too. As always, this is the Jack and Jack podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in here on Mic'd Up. We also post this live on YouTube as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We also have clips. They go up on Instagram and TikTok. Those have been gaining a little bit of traction, but not quite as much as we want. So if you guys are not subscribed to all those channels, please subscribe and help us out. We're trying to grow this podcast as me and Jack are trying to get into the sports media industry. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good one. And Jack, as we leave, I'm going to end it with one last prediction. Right now, if you had to say who wins the Ballon d'Or,
I'm gonna say I think that Spain will win the World Cup, and I think if Lamine is not hurt, I think he's gonna take it down. However, if he is hurt and does not play or is not full strength, I'm gonna go with your boy Declan Rice. But right now, Lamine Yamal's my winner.
I'm sticking with Declan Rice. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate y'all.